Yes. All right. Welcome back to the American Movie Podcast. This is your host, Matthew Benjamin. What's going on? Okay, I just watched Banking on Bitcoin. And see, I never knew anything really about Bitcoin. I just knew it was like digital money. So this was actually really informative. I enjoyed it a lot because it's basically the history and Bitcoin 101. It breaks everything down, what Bitcoin is, the founders, the history of it, the volatility of it, just stuff like that. And it was actually really crazy because it's kind of this conspiracy because its originator, his alias was Natashi Sakamoto, and no one knows what this guy looks like. He was found. Well, the guy's name was found, but it turned out that's not the actual guy who created it. Someone just happened to have that same name. It was Dorian Natashi Sakamoto. That's a mouthful. So, but yeah, it was really, really crazy. It's based pretty much inside of New York because that's where pretty much all the stock exchange was and all the controversy was. So what Bitcoin is, it's this cryptocurrency that is decentralized. And it's decentralized. That means there's no third party controlling it. It's all held upon these things called miners and these servers. And it's like these thousands of powerful computers. And there's no like pinpoint precision where it's able to be hacked. So it's spread about over 1,000 miner computers. So instead of like this central banking system like America has, where it's like this one spot that's actually hackable, or you see corporations like Target get hacked and like all of the other ones. I can't remember all of them, but Sears and stuff like that, I think it's got hacked. And so that's the advantage to this digital currency. And it goes over the history pretty much in the founder. And then it also goes into all of the like companies that are trying to make it better. And one of those is BitInstant. And BitInstant was actually like backed by the Winklevoss twins right here. And the Winklevoss twins, if you don't know them, they were there was a big controversy with them on the founding of Facebook, which is if you want to see something like that, that would be The Social Network. That's a good movie. So, but yeah, it was backed by that, and it's called BitInstant. And what was really difficult with Bitcoin was first its volatility, which is it just means that the exchange rate you're gonna get, it's just going to have like leaps and bounds of its value. So it could be really, really low on one point and then really, really high at one point. And the exchange rate is so slow that you're not going to be able to get a pinpoint precision on what value you're going to get back. So BitInstant held a whole bunch of Bitcoins in-house and matched the stock exchange immediately, which allowed it to be a lot quicker. Usually it took about, I think it was 3 or 4 days for Bitcoin exchange to actually happen. So you don't know what you're going to come out with. But BitExchange actually held Bitcoins together and then it was in New York, and allowed them to actually hand out Bitcoins with like pretty much precision. So I found that really fascinating. And that guy, Charlie Shrem, the United States government did not take lightly when this thing got wings. So it took off, and then they wanted to regulate it. And one of the reasons they wanted to regulate it was because the Silk Road developed. And the Silk Road was this combination of Tor, which is this process where you can just get anonymity online. And then it combined Bitcoin. So it allowed anonymity and the exchange of money for goods and services on this. And Silk Road was pretty much this website where you could do anything. It was the most this most libertarian website in the world. So you could get all types of different things. You could get malware. You could get you could buy hackers. You could buy drugs. You could buy weapons. You could do anything you wanted onto it. And this was just a small percentage of actually what Bitcoin was used for, but it tarnished and gave Bitcoin pretty much this bad name. So that was part of it too. So it broke down the Silk Road, which was really fascinating. And then, and then the founder of that, I think it's Ryan Ulrich. They made an example of that guy, and he just created a website where people exchange stuff. He didn't actually like sell the stuff on it, but they made an example of that guy and put him in jail for life And the other guy who founded BitInstant, they put him in jail for, I think, 3 years just for selling Bitcoin, even though how they equate it was there's ATMs provided by banks all over the streets of wherever. And if they get money out, they know that some portion of that money is going to go to illegal activity at some point. I mean, you just can't. It's inevitable. But they incarcerated this guy for the exact same thing. Someone bought Bitcoin from this guy, and he knowingly knows that some Bitcoin at a small point is going to be used for illegal activity. So they incarcerated that guy, which was really, really crazy to think, like, just to assess. It was just really crazy. So that was super fascinating. That was Charlie Shim, and I believe he's still serving right now. And it's a very contemporary documentary. I think it just started streaming on Netflix now, so it's available. So I found it really, really fascinating to think. And I was looking at the value of Bitcoin now, and it's up higher than it's ever been, I believe. Or it dropped a little bit, but it hit its all-time high within the past few months or weeks. So it's like 1 Bitcoin is 4,000-ish American dollars, which is just crazy to think about, because it started out with 0.007 cents on the dollar. So it's crazy and it just started right after the 2008 crisis. That's when it took wind, because the centralized banks themselves, the banking systems, created this crisis with our money, and then somebody wanted this safer system, so they tried to make one, and the government said, no, we're going to regulate it. And what was really grating about it was the lead person that created the regulation inside of the New York Stock Exchange for the Bitcoin later resigned after they signed this bit license into existence. He resigned and then created his own private company to consult people trying to sell Bitcoin on how to actually apply for the license. So that was really grating. That guy was Ben Lewinsky. And I don't know the entire story behind that, but I mean, that's how the documentary portrayed it. And it was very, very grating in the light that they put him in. So yeah. So it was really, really fascinating. It was really cool to to see and think about this this cryptocurrency that's decentralized, which is the most powerful part of it, is the decentralization of it. And it's called blockchain. And this is what the United States government's looking at, as well as the banking system, this blockchain element of it, because it creates these ledgers that it's a reward system of a program. So the idea is to make sure that they keep the exact amount of Bitcoin everywhere throughout these 1,000 miners that I was talking about. And it allows people to exchange freely without more fees or anything like that. It was a lot cheaper too. So that was one of the things. And there was a lot more precision and less fees with it. So it was really fascinating to see the blockchain. And there's a really good TED Talk about the blockchain. I'll link it down below. And I think you could find this documentary on YouTube too. So I'll link that down below too if you don't have Netflix. But yeah, dude, it was really, really cool. So I highly, highly recommend this one if you're interested in just knowing about Bitcoin. So yeah, check that out if you want. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Matthew Benjamin with the American Movie Podcast. Just went over banking on Bitcoin. Yes, so all the sponsors for this podcast are down below, so feel free to check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I got a lot of good stuff coming, so stay tuned. Thank you. Bye. Ciao. Ciao.